in rural area, this vocational training and small industries, they are providing this forward and backward linkages. So I think this private sector people can contribute immensely, and now government understand this government approach, top-down approach will not work actually. So that's why government is planning to involve all sector in this national livelihood mission. So thank you very much. Just I wanted to say something.
Any other questions? So, you want to start?
Not only a question, but actually this is meant towards the NSTC. My name is Salil Pandey. When you're actually developing the roadmap for a skills, when you're developing the roadmap for a skills improvement or skills enhancement for the country, have you actually studied, like, let's say, a couple of other nations where we are benchmarking ourselves against and how they evolved over a period of time? Did they actually go through this era that we are in right now, and what are some of the mistakes that they did that we could possibly avoid? Because I think we're probably solving a problem that was sort of attempted by someone somewhere, and there may be an opportunity to just like leapfrog some of the mistakes that they did. Just like a cell phone example. We don't have landlines, but everybody has cell phones. So could there be a few things that we could quickly leverage and make some quick progress? And on your website, instead of our success stories having coming soon, you could have like some early quick wins. So just a thought.
Okay, since most of the questions are directed to Yuvraj, can I ask you to start and then we can
make a few comments across. I picked up some questions, I might have missed some questions. There was a comment made about tenders. I think that is something very clearly we are steering away from. He says we are about leveraging entrepreneurial energy, innovation, imagination. Tenders is just opposite of leveraging that, so we will not. Ministries, NSDC is working, ministry is working, what's going on. NRLM, the newest program in the country, we are in advanced discussions of not doing two separate things, but how can we combine together? And this is one. And currently, since last night, I've been writing a discussion note with another ministry. So here the message I'm trying to give is, look, NSDC is the government's child. And second, at least some of the ministries are beginning to already look beyond, their self-interest and seeing that there are some possible synergies. So why don't we at least talk to this new kid on the block called NSDC? It's not happening late in the game, but pretty early in the game. So this was another comment. Rural skills. Somewhere, I do not know, I might be wrong here, but I think this whole thing about there's a skills gap of 95% in the country, I think is misleading, and I think it is wrong. Because I think we have not been able to count various informal sector skilling that is happening. India has a great tradition of informal sector skilling and very, very informal sector skilling as well. So I think somewhere we are not able to count, and we are not able to also grant merit to that system. Because somewhere I think we need to not destroy our ethos, but some of these very important ethos. India is known for its guild system in the past. That still stays, and I have been to some of these, deep heritage culture clusters, and I clearly see that they have their own ways of going about it. So, second, even this rural skills, there are at least 3-4 very interesting proposals that we have got, and we didn't realize that they've already been doing this kind of work. And we've been asking SS, can you add 2 zeros to whatever you've been doing so far, kind of a thing, and tell us how we can help you. So it has been happening. Forward and backward linkages, I think that's very, very crucial that we are talking about here. Very clearly, I think while we are talking about skill development, I think we also need to start talking about skill mapping and skill matching. It's wrong to say there are no skills in the country. Many times, the buyer and seller do not know that both exist. So we just need robust, information system. No rocket science. This is straightforward, which is already happening in the corporate world. We need just those mechanisms to solve different kinds of problems and very large problems. I think skill mapping and skill matching is a very, very important if we need to get the skill development engine get going. Just imagine if I'm in a village and if I get to know that my neighbor has actually got a job just because he posted his CV. CV is not as we know CV, but the fact that he posted on a government system that these are the skills, and suddenly he gets a call that there are 30-40 such youngsters from this village who are needed by one leading construction company, out of Bangalore, for example. learning from other countries, I think it is important. But frankly, the various visits that I have made, not great, but at least 6-7 different states and the villages in the 6-7 thing, I think we need to blend both. At a concept level, I think concept ideas, yes. But at a detail level, I think we need to work it out what is relevant, what is contextual for our country. For this whole notion, this Mitanin model in Chhattisgarh, 60,000 people is unprecedented. The Western world will scoff at this idea. They will say this is nonsense. Is it? How can class 5 people, class 8 people, be prescribing? They don't prescribe medicines, by the way, but they're doing this barefoot doctor kind of a thing. It's completely, it's radical to them. Forget radical, it's blasphemous for them. Some of the doctors in this country have actually told them, this is what nonsense. You can't be doing this kind of thing. At the same time, the wise doctors, the finest doctors in the country also endorse this model. It says, this is the model. This is the way that India needs to go. And by the way, not just barefoot doctors, barefoot veterinarians, barefoot soil engineers, barefoot crop engineers. So it's the same analogy that I told you, which is how did this mobile guy learn to start repairing? When Dada came up, he said, these are 20-30 things that go wrong in a mobile. He just teaches that. Isn't this true for almost every domain where you need to pick up knowledge? It is true. At least to 60, 70, 80% of the problem. If we can equip our village with these things, and there are a whole set of problems that are dealing with. Crop nutritionists, repairing tractors, repairing trawlers and things like that. Are they rocket science? They are not rocket science. Can they be taught? Yes. In an imaginative way? Yes. Especially with pictures, films, and the interactive kind of a thing. Maybe there's a way out. Last one, this coming soon. I appreciate a comment. I think there are a few other people who have told us, what is this when we go to case studies? It says coming soon kind of a thing. It's, I know it is definitely wrong. But let me tell you, there are already some very interesting case studies. 2 days back, NSDC cleared a proposal from Pratham, NGO, a for-profit model. Day one, they will be charging full cost. What is the size of the proposal? $1 million plus. What is the capacity of the proposal? In our opinion, much more than that. So, that is something that consistently I have seen. It says, गरीबों के पास पैसा नहीं है. Wrong. गरीबों को क्या चाहिए पूछो, वो बना के दो, पैसा है उनके पास. I go to rural interior Jharkhand, chain of 8 schools running. There is a big queue. They have expanded to 8 schools, but there's still a big queue. How much do they charge? Primary education, 200 rupees per month. That is a lot of money for them. But there is still a big line. Because there is great quality, low-cost model, great quality education that is being dispensed with. So I just ran through some of the questions that actually came across and a few things that occurred to me. I've missed some of your questions. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. There was a point where you were talking about what is the role of the entrepreneur in this project with the government. Am I right? That's what you want to know? See, what the government did was, first of all, they said that they didn't want to deliver the program. Okay. Because as it is, they've tried to do that, and this is not their work. So what they did was they spoke to around 3 companies and just said that, you set up your own network, and in your network, get the right kind of entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a person who sees an opportunity and works on it. So what we did was, we had to open up, like my company was supposed to open up 500 centers in Gujarat. Now that means they give us 500 locations, but having 500 teachers who would report in time, work and deliver results was not possible at the cost or the revenue that we were going to make. So what we did was, we picked up teachers, mediocre teachers, and made them entrepreneurs. Said, here you are my partner, take up this project, I'll give you training, I'll give you the content, I'll support you, you go deliver. The more business you do, the more your revenue is. That's how it worked. So that was the entrepreneur part. What the government did was, you want to set up a shop, I'll give you a place, sign a document that you're going to deliver these training hours. I'll give you a projector and a computer worth 70,000 rupees at that time. I'm talking about 3 years back. So that is what was the work of the government. What they did was, they ensured that they had a QAC. They had a set of 5 people who would go down to each center, based on the norms, grade them. Now if you fall under the A grade, the government would give you some business. Like the tribal department, okay, you train X number of people, we will pay for you for that. For the rural department, you train X number of people, we'll pay you for that. If your work is good, you get government assistance also. So that is how the entire ecosystem worked, where everybody benefited by doing the right thing. Okay, the student who's paying an X amount, because he can go and demand, I want this. That was the first thing. Second is, the person who's teaching, he says, if I do a good job, I'll get X number of confirmed students. my revenue goes up, plus my student gets me more reference. Okay. Companies like us, we supported them, we monitored them, so that if they could do good, they do more numbers, and we were paid for that because our content used to go. And the government got it in the way is, the entire, talk about 5 years down the line from now, is in Gujarat, English was supposed to be a no-no word. Because of it largely being a BJP state. They said, nothing, we know to be more onto our local language. They realized when the industry asked for it. So what they could do is they could get a strong positive vibes from the industry. And the industry started coming in that this government actually works. So that is how everybody benefited. So that is how the entire system was work. Did I answer your question or did you have something else? Sir?
It is the entrepreneur that who has taken the initiative.
We as a company are an entrepreneur, right? The person who's teaching is an entrepreneur because he works on his own to get his own. There's no fixed salary. The whole chain system is entrepreneur. Okay, that's how it works. The government is an enabler and sometimes it pushes a lot. In fact, the best thing that they've done is they made it compulsory for all teachers to achieve a certain level of proficiency. That is the first level. So the initial number came from there. Then we have this electricity company said, okay, all our employees, minimum this level should come in. They started pushing in and then everybody started doing. The parents started and then the children started coming in for it. That is how they've achieved a number of 100,000 in 2.5 years. And by next year it should be around 3 lakhs. That is what they're talking about. So it's a system which is working on its own. The government pumped in money initially in terms of the equipment and now it is a self-sustaining. They only subsidize the certification, which is they pay 150 rupees extra for each student who is certified, provided that student clears that exam. And this is a third-party certification. So it actually works.
Mr. Raghupathi?
I just want to share some of the information which after the discussing and also interaction from the audience. So somebody pointed out that the best practices for skill development from other countries and all. See, as you all know, India of late, started, skill development. When industrial training institutes were established way back in 52, I think the last 50 years nothing has happened. Only very recently, about 5 years back, this center upgradation of ITS into Center of Excellence came into existence, followed by immediately the public-private partnership and then modular scheme. All happened at a simultaneously, one after the other scheme has come up. And India, as you all know, we are not lagging any of these skills. First of all, only the best practices, the system we have to put in place. As Ms. Rivraj, rightly said, we are already, having skills. For example, if you take, any fabrication sector, what we normally conceive is the roadside people who are doing grill work and welder and all. But they have the skill. But the same skill, if you go to any developed nation, nobody will do like that. They will wear the apron, they will wear the shoes, they will wear the goggles, they will wear the helmet, everything. Skill part is concerned, I think Indian can compete anybody in the world. For your information, we are not being known that world skill competition is existed. Only of late we came to know, this department is running for several years. But we came to know of late that there is a world skill competition like Olympics. Once in 2 years,